Besties, hello. In this week's video, I will be taking you around the Upper East Side, specifically the Met. The Met is one of my favorite places in all of New York, and I'm so excited to show you around while talking to you about goal setting. I know that setting your goals can feel like an intimidating and scary journey, so I hope this video helps you feel a little less alone and a little more empowered to pursue whatever it is that your heart desires. As always, from my heart to your screen, love, joy. We're gonna film today's video vlog style. I'm going to the Met. We'll talk to you guys about how to set goals that you'll actually achieve. I've been working from home a lot and I feel like I'm really stuck in my head, so I need to get out and find some creative inspiration. And what better place to do it than at the Met? Let's get ready. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joy. I'm a 20-something living in New York City. I recently left my full-time job as a software engineer to pursue my startup dreams full-time and create content in the meantime. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Technically, I'm not meeting anyone, but I still want to look kind of cute for myself. We're at my favorite room in the Met, and I'm gonna do a little bit of journaling here. This is my absolute favorite room. It's so bright and it's a lot more quiet than other parts of the Met. So some questions I'm thinking about is how do you set goals you'll actually achieve? And I think there are 5 main components that I'll talk about in this video. The first being write down everything you want to do. It can even be arbitrary things. For me, I normally have a list of 10 or 15 things I want to do, and they might not all be from the same area. Some of them might be career related versus some of them can be for fun, leisure. Well, just write all of it down and circle the top 2 and focus on those 2 main things. Everything else you need to evade it like the plague, because it's gonna be something you're tempted to do. It's actually gonna take time and energy away from you. I think that focusing on just 2 things max is the best way to allocate your time and energy and resources, because your time, energy, and resources, they're finite, and trying to do every single thing will not serve you. But just do 1 or 2 things really well and avoid everything else will be a much better strategy. The key word here is to focus. I think focusing is really important when it comes to setting goals and achieving your goals. The 2 main things I want to do, it's YouTube and my startup. So yeah, avoiding everything else like a plague. I did want to run a half marathon this year and be better at my Chinese language, but I'm trying not to be hard on myself in those areas, because I realized that there's only so much that I can do, and both YouTube and the startup, they're both time consuming. And while just being focused might not get you the results you want, being focused gets you a lot closer than when you're spread thin across everything. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is the importance of being confident when setting and pursuing your goals. I used to think that if you were good at something, it means that you will automatically become more confident. But if you base confidence of how good you are at something, you might be chasing something that's infinite, because every time you think you're good at something, there will always be someone who's better than you at it. And if you base confidence of ability, then it'll be really hard to form that genuine confidence. So how do you become really confident? For me, I think it's being a little delulu. I know delulu gets a little bit of a bad rap, but let me explain to you how I managed to develop confidence over the years, how I feel you can as well. I was journaling earlier, right? This is something that I wrote. There are so many things that I noticed recently, how I can never be the best at cinematography, I don't even know how to pronounce the word, or being aesthetic. But I have a talent in being warm and storytelling, something that most people probably can't do. But if I continue to focus on the areas where I'm lacking, I will never be able to live up to my full potential. So the idea there is, if you feel you're lacking in something, focus on what you're good at. This is a little bit hard because we tend to be oblivious with our strengths versus we tend to really over focus on our weaknesses and other people's strengths. Just remember that no one can be the best at anything, and just come with that a little bit of the delulu energy. Confidence is energy. So confidence for me does not equate being the best at every single thing, but it's trust in yourself the reason why you trust yourself can vary, but it's really important to be confident when pursuing your goals, because if you pursue something and you're not really confident about it, every time there's a setback, you'd want to give up. Now we're going to move on to the third part. The other important component of chasing your goals is to shut out the noise. Yeah, I can't stress how important it is that when you've committed to doing something, you should not listen to other people's advice. You should really shut out the noise, whether it's a metric or whether it's other people's opinions. When you're doing something at first, you're probably going to suck at it, and it's going to take a long time for you to actually reap the results. If you focus on like the metric, it'll be really easy to want to give up. I believe that your parents and your friends are the worst people to ask for advice, because they would want you to make decisions based on the safest decision for you. But sometimes the safest decision is not always the best decision for us, especially if you're trying to pursue something that's risky. And risk taking is essential when you're trying to take a big step and you're trying to make big moves with your lives. People's opinions, it's something you can't control, but most of the time it's noise. Like, yes, there's some truth to it, but it might not always apply to you. There are two types of people who I avoid like a plague when asking for advice. The first being, if I look at their lives and I realize that I don't actually want to live their lives, or I don't actually admire them, or they're not happy, then I wouldn't ask them for advice. If anything, I would do the opposite of what they tell me to do. The other thing is, if the person has not been to the destination, aka is not where I want to be, I would also not ask them for advice, because whatever they say is probably not very relevant to me. People are going to say lots of things, and most of the time people will not be very encouraging, and that's okay, but you gotta learn to cancel out the noise. We're now in like the Renaissance room and thought I'd film here. Yeah, the social anxiety no longer exists. Anyways, now we've gotten the mindset shifts out of the way. Mindset shifts are great, and it's great to have a good mindset going in. It's really important to put in the work. Putting in the work isn't just about putting in the work, it's about focusing on consistent improvements over intensity. It's always consistency over intensity, because this is why Atomic Habits is one of the best-selling books of all time. Because if you focus on intensity, it's really easy to get burned out, versus continual improvement is a way to like celebrate the small changes you've made, the leaps you've made, and it makes it a lot more sustainable. I have like an entire video on like how to fall in love with the process that you should watch here. And once you're able to be consistent, you build this like, I want to say, incredible momentum. And momentum is something that tends to get underestimated, but once you get it right, it's sort of like snowballs and it pushes you a lot further. I think I'm done with the Met. I'm gonna go to Central Park and film the rest of the video and get myself a levain cookie, because while I'm here on the Upper East Side. So, I was gonna finish filming at Central Park, but the trees were kind of like sad looking, so I was like, there's no one outside of the Met, so I'm just gonna sit here, because it's also kind of like nice to finish up the video. So last thing is to set your expectations regarding timeline. You know, when you're pursuing a goal, it's not a like in-out journey, meaning that the effort you put in will not equate the results. Sometimes you have to put in a lot of work for a little result. Sometimes you put in a little work for like a lot of results. And it really depends. Coming out of school, we're so like used to thinking that effort in equals to results, which is like not the case. And most of the time, it takes time before we're able to see results. I'll like place a chart here, which I think is like the best chart that illustrates how effort and results kind of like correlate in real life. Most of the time when we give up, we tend to give up right when things are about to take off. A lot of things just like take time. So for whatever timeline you have in mind, if you think that something is going to take, let's say 3 months to achieve, just double that and be patient, because achieving your goals, whatever it is probably not a linear journey. And it's a really important thing to keep in mind. If you're trying to pursue something this year, I wish you all the best and be patient, okay? I believe in you. This is so like, so vibey. I love living in New York, and I love the Met. Every floor is like really different, and it's just a different vibe every few meters, which I absolutely love. I don't think there's any other museum which encompasses as many vibes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna go buy myself a levain cookie right now. Love you, bye.